guess what? It's here. You get a hat. This is no label. I mean, it says E-prop on it though. Man, it's been a while since I've held an E-prop, and I forget how lightweight they are. They are incredibly light. Give it a shot. If it's not rounded. Here's the harness. So this harness, I believe, is manufactured by Sup Air, or it's like the Sup Air harness. I had a Sup Air harness on my first Paramotor, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then I've also had the Dudek comfort seat. They're both very similar, like they have the same adjustments. The Dudek comfort is a little bit heavier weight, but it also has a little bit more padding, which is good. This is the harness that it comes with. Comes with 2 pockets. That's good. I like double pockets because I fly with the front mount reserve. These buckles are different than the Dudek buckles. You'll see how thin they are. They're much thinner than the Dudek comfort seat ones. So these are lighter weight buckles for sure, much lighter weight, but still just as secure. There is a big pocket in the back here and a zipper at the top, so you could unzip this and stuff some foam padding in here if you wanted more padding and comfort. But oh, check this out. You see right here inside the harness, let's see if I can show you this right here. This is the speed bar pulley. It's inside the harness and it's recessed back behind the carabiners. If you watched one of my other videos, I talked about if the speed bar pulleys are behind your hang point mount, then when you push on the speed bar, it doesn't make your paramotor lean backwards when you push on speed bar. This harness already comes set up like that. That's very good. Swing arms. Weight shift arms, so this goes into the frame and then a pin goes through here so you can adjust how far apart your arms are. Gives you more or less weight shift authority. If you move the arms further out on the frame, then when you weight shift, you get more authority, versus when it's further in, you get less authority and you get a more stable platform. Throttle. This looks like some bolts and some fuel line, etc. This is the part everyone wants to see. Ooh, da, da, da. Check it out. It's so hard to tell in videos how big this is. In pictures, it looks huge, and then you see it in person, and you're like, oh, it's not so massive. I love this fuel cap location. So easy. It's going to be so easy to put fuel in this thing. Oh, it has a retainer. Look at that. So, where the spars go into this tank, it's bolted in all the way through from this side. So the tank is like sandwiched with 2 pieces of metal, and then the spar fits right into there. And then this is where the swing arms mount to, and it's a piece of metal that connects both ends. Dude, this is so awesome. Oh, this is actually cut out. You can put your finger in here. But this is where you could put, like, I don't know, you can store some information in there. If you have electric start paramotor, you can put the battery in there and then run the wires up and out this hole. They have a little groove cut out for you. Oh, so satisfying. I think they forgot a screw. I'm gonna have to call them. No big deal. I like this. They have this bumper material. It's like a wear point, so you're not wearing out the bottom of your fuel tank over time. The tank is super slim, and I love that. I'll talk about that more later. Harness mounts on here. This is the seat board for the harness. A lot of paramotors come with a wooden one, which can crack, and they're a little bit heavier. This one is carbon fiber and foam. It's super light. I mean, it weighs like nothing.
Hey, look, this just comes right out.
What? Oh, sick, dude. It's got my name on it. And a gravity paramotor on this glass. There, now you can see it. They gave me a beer mug. Time to go pour a beer. Be right back. Now we're ready to finish this build. This is the bottom of the hoop section. Got these little feet on them. And this is lighter weight than I expected. This is pretty thin-walled aluminum. Seems strong though. Someone was telling me about this. It's a little card, and I think it's a USB thumb drive. In this bag you get a super big pulley that'll make pull starting easier. You get this piece. Not really sure where it goes, but we're gonna find that out. You get a fuel primer bulb. Oh, cause I'm a dummy. All right, so this piece, don't pull it out. You flip it up like this. This is a thumb drive. And you stick this thumb drive in the computer. You get some more hardware in here. Some bolts. Fuel line. You get a fuel clunk. This is what your fuel line attached to, and it sits in the bottom of the fuel tank. Called the guys at Gravity, and I asked them for a Polini throttle because that's my preference. They were like, sure, no problem. Swapped it out for me. And so yeah, Polini throttle.
Oh, look at
Alright, so when you get this, you just unroll it.
It's the spars.
It's the spars. These are CNC'd aluminum on my version that I got. This is like a Durlin plastic, it feels like. Seems pretty strong, and it's CNC'd as well. The shape of this is very precision machined, so it should fit together very nicely. Let's do it.
Together?
Yep. Oh, so satisfying. Oh, dun, 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 dun. Read the instructions before you try this. Said no man ever. I'm actually gonna go and pop this USB thumb drive in the computer real quick and make sure I'm doing this right, because I don't want to put it together wrong and then have to start over. That's a little bit of thread lock. Classic. So you put this little adapter plate on the engine, and then this part is what goes into the tank along with another bolt all the way through here. Just a drop.
Shoo.
Sorry. Quick tip on these Moster engines. So the throttle cable, when you attach this little screw piece, and it goes right into this this piece right here. This is what I push in the hole. This is from a remote control servo for like RC cars, airplanes, helicopters. It's a little brass sleeve, and I just have a ton of these laying around for my old hobbies, but I push it in the hole, and then that allows the cable to slide through, but it can't come out once you put that cap on it. There, that's a better view of it. The other thing, you can buy these at like auto parts store. I just soldered this connector on. I'm gonna cover it with heat shrink so it won't be that ugly. And then Gravity sent a connector that fits directly onto the ignition coil, and then so crimp that on, and then I'll actually solder it too as double protection, and then a huge piece of heat shrink, and then I'll slide it on there, and that'll be my kill switch. get you. I won't let it get you. Kill switch wired up complete. And then here's my ignition coil wire wrapped in heat shrink. Both have a lot of relief from vibrations, so hopefully that'll keep them from breaking, but we'll see. And then I'm gonna take this excess wire and kind of wrap it up, clean it up really nice so it's not too tight where it's pulling, but it's also a little bit tighter than this. Another quick tip, my harness came with the seat board not installed, so I just put the seat board in there, and I want to show you something. See these straps, these leg straps? They go here, and then the leg straps should be routed so that they go over the top of the seat board and then around the back side. There it is. It's complete. I have not put a drop of fuel in it yet. I'm about to throw it on the scale. Moment of truth. This is just me. 151. Put the motor on my back, stand on it again, do the math. I haven't even adjusted the shoulder straps yet. This is my first time putting it on. There it is, 212 with the motor on, 212.8. Huge benefit. You don't need a funnel to fill this paramotor. First gas is going in. See if she starts. Just finished the gravity build. Whoa, whoa. Battle of the Paramotors. This is my brand new Gravity Defy paramotor and my old Power to Fly RS frame with a motor as well. Just gonna give you guys some shots, talk about a few things. I'm doing break-in cycles on the Gravity paramotor right now, so I'm letting the motor cool. I know everyone wants to know this answer, so here it is. Power to Fly RS with the Moster 185 Plus Dudek harness with no fuel. Mine weighs 54 pounds. 54 pounds. No reserve, no fuel, just a motor, harness, throttle, prop, etc. Gravity paramotor, no fuel, with a harness, Moster 185 Plus, 61.8 pounds. So we'll call it 62 pounds. So that's the weight difference. That being said, this was a pre-order paramotor, a pre-order gravity motor, and the tanks that they made that came out of the molds first ended up being stronger than they anticipated, and the plastic is more dense. So that means that this tank is more dense than what they thought. So it came out slightly overweight, about 5 pounds ish, about 5 pounds. So the second generation of this Gravity Defy, the second tank molds that come out will probably be about 5 pounds lighter weight than how much mine weighs right now. But still, 61.8 pounds, totally doable. My Virus weighed 66, and also the Virus, the motor was further out from your back. So the further out the motor is from your back, the more weight you feel the motor trying to tilt you backwards. And this one's good. It really, the tank isn't that thick as it is, and then they only have one tiny like 8mm spacer in there before it mounts. So motor's pretty close to your back. I mean, if you compare harness to motor and then harness to motor, it's pretty close. It takes some getting used to, kind of lifting the paramotor off the ground, because it's like a tripod, right? The tank is pointy, and then you have the two little legs on the back of the hoop. So it's not too tippy. Like if you pull it and shake it, it doesn't tip over or anything. But when you're lifting it off the ground, it does kind of want to go left or right. But it's not like it's gonna fall over on its own if it's too windy. It's stable enough to withstand normal just hanging out by itself. It's just different putting it on your back. But overall, I think the benefits outweigh the cons when it comes to this fuel tank design. So that much fuel, that's 2 gallons of fuel that's in this tank right now. And you can see it's like a quarter of the way filled up. So this thing is a true 5-gallon fuel tank, and that's pretty awesome. If you want to go win an Icarus race, and this is the motor to have for sure, because 5 gallons, fill it all the way up and just fly as long as you want to. All right, I'm gonna pick up this gravity paramotor. This is one of the easiest motors to move around without having to put it on your back, because your hand just naturally grips right here, and the tank is kind of narrow right here. So you can just grab it and lift it up, and it's just like the perfect handhold if you're gonna move it further or like lift it up higher. If you just need to move it a couple of feet, they have these handholds right here that you can grab onto, and it's super easy to just lift the motor up. It's pretty handy. I'm glad that they designed those handles in there. They give you a wire clamp mount that just screws in there. And then I had to figure out how I wanted to route the throttle cable. So I could have, tucked it nice and neat, but I like this because it's easy to do maintenance on it if I have to. So I routed it up here, and then I just put a piece of string from here around the backside. Really, my only complaint I had with this build was there's nowhere to zip tie things. On these traditional frames, you can just zip ties everywhere, zip tie, and you can secure everything where it needs to be. And on this, there's like nothing to zip tie it to. So I had to get creative. I ran some string through here and back through this other hole, and that just holds this throttle cable up against the back side of the paramotor so it doesn't get on the starter cord or anything like that. The fuel, I think I'm going to end up shortening this a little bit. I started long because I can always trim it shorter later on if I need to. Same thing, there's like hardly anything to zip tie this to. I could do the motor mounts. I don't want to do the exhaust because it gets too hot. So I made a little standoff bracket here with fuel tubing and zip ties to kind of just have this standing off a little bit, and it stays there pretty secure to reach the primer bulb. It's also out of the way so I can easily reach my hand behind the airbox for the primer button. So that's good. Pulley, starter cord pulley, great quality. It's nice and big, so it doesn't rob your energy while you're trying to pull start. Hoop flex. Let me prop this camera up and show you how strong this is. If you do a powered forward launch, you pull this, I mean, that's pulling pretty hard, and there's hardly any hoop flex. You can't, without breaking this E-prop, you can't flex this hoop into this prop. The only way you possibly could is down here. It's a little bit closer, but it's still very strong. And then I will show you this. You see that flex there? If I lift the tank off the ground and I shake the motor like that, there is some flex, but it's not excessive. I don't feel like it's gonna break anything. I feel like if you did crash this paramotor hard, like any paramotor, you could flex the hoop into the prop, and you'll probably destroy your prop and maybe the bottom section of your hoop section. But to be honest, any paramotor on the market is like that. Let me show you this one now. A little bit more flex. That's a closer distance up here too. A little bit more flex, but still not as bad. So, like I was saying, any paramotor on the market pretty much, except for, I hate to say it, the flat top and SkyTap Angel, but that's a whole nother video. Those things are heavy, and the pros on that frame don't outweigh the cons, like this one and most other paramotors. So if you did have a really hard butt landing, I think you could get this hoop to flex and hit your prop. But most paramotors on the market, that's the same case scenario. The difference is, can you get parts, and how quickly can you get parts, or can it be repaired? Let me give you an example. If your prop, if this cage flexes and your prop hits this spar here, this spar can't be replaced without welding. You have to take this to a shop and get a whole new piece of aluminum welded in here. That requires more time and it requires more money. Same thing with like a Parajet Maverick. Most of the frames on the market, this part of the frame down here is welded in. It's not replaceable. On this frame, if you bust this hoop section, you can go on Gravity's website and order any piece of this hoop or these spars. And these spars, they literally just slide in. There's a little spring pin that holds it in, but if you disconnect the netting in the hoop, the spar slides out. So if you do crash this, I think the tank will hold up just fine. And then order a new spar, a new hoop section, pop the old one out, pop the new one in, and off you go. So I think it's a good compromise of, it's not bulletproof, but it's lighter weight than a bulletproof paramotor, and it's easily fixable. This is my first model year 20 with this airbox. It's okay, it looks cool. The other one was easier to put on and more reliable, but we'll see how it goes over time. This came with a 130 centimeter E-prop. Good. More thrust, the better, right? 130 over 125, and the hoop is plenty big enough to fit a 130. You can see that's a 130 on there, and it still has room. You could probably squeeze a 140, 135 on there if you wanted to, but I'm good with 130. That's what I have on my Power to Fly frame as well. That's what I'm used to. What else? Net tensioning system. So this is the net tensioning system, and I've already tightened it with tools, so I can't get it any tighter, but I'll show you. You can kind of see it flexing there as I try and twist this, but that's an Allen key hex right there. So you could put an Allen key in there and crank it down, and this netting is like almost guitar string tight. Very stiff and very strong, and I dig it. Feels really safe. From, you know, it's not gonna like, I don't feel like it's gonna loosen up at all in flight and catch my propeller. The holes are small enough that a brake toggle won't fit through it. You know, it does what a netting is supposed to do. Weight shift arms. All right, they're heavy duty. Gravity, for the pre-order customers, at least on my pre-order paramotor, they upgraded my arms to the dynamic flight system arms, and I'm super thankful for that. They didn't have to do that. We didn't ask for that, but they sent it to us anyway. This is the dynamic flight system puck right here. This puck, you can remove it and put in a smaller one, and then that will, I don't know if you can see that. Let me show you a better angle. See that little bit of movement there, a couple degrees? If you put a smaller puck in here, you get more, so your weight shift arms move almost like, I don't know, more like a paragliding harness. You get more weight shift authority, more feedback in flight from the wing. That's a, you know, good and a bad thing depending on your flying style. Comes with this safety strap, so if this bolt does fail, which I highly doubt it will, safety strap can save you. And then check this out too. If you want to adjust the torque of the paramotor, if it's like turning very strongly to the right under power, pull this pin down and then pull this out, right? That comes out. Then these arms are adjustable in and out like this. And easily removable all the way too, just like that. Pop it back in. If it's in like that, you'll get more torque from your motor. And then by sliding this out, you're basically putting a little bit of weight shift into your paramotor all the time. So I adjusted mine to where it was very similar to my Power to Fly frame, so I can give a fair comparison. I want them to be kind of close to each other, so I kind of have more of a baseline to start with. That slides in. Oh, I forgot to put the safety strap on. Pull my safety strap back in there. what else about the harness? The leg straps on this one are more comfortable than the dudek in my opinion, because it's a little bit further apart here, so you get a little bit more room for your huevos. You know, you don't catch a huevos with the leg strap and make you cry when you take off. So I think this is a little bit more comfortable. The buckles are lighter weight. What else? Other than that, it's a harness. It did come with these, this strap right here. It was really long, and they had it going down through that hole right there, which they intended for you to strap to these. They had more of these buckles down here at the bottom of the tank. When you tighten that strap, it pulls these shoulder straps tight against your chest, even when you're in flight. I opted to take that off. I had other paramotors with the same straps, and I removed them because they kind of just get in the way, and you have to tighten them and adjust them when you take off and land. And so I basically just took this strap. I didn't cut it off, but I just tucked it inside of here, which this opens up. I tucked that strap inside of there. This is where you can attach a reserve bridle. So if you side mount your reserve, you can run the reserve bridle up through this piece here, all the way up top, and then attach it to the reserve mounting point, which is right there, that green piece. You could run your CHT and your temperature gauge wires also up through that same area, and then run the wires down to here, and then push the CHT and hour meter into this little clear piece. Keeps it nice and tidy, out of the way, but still visible. Another thing, speed bar guys, check this out. Let me show you my other harness first. Dudek harness, where the speed bar attaches, Velcro. It gets worn out over time, but it is secure if you make sure it's nice and secure. And then the dudek harness comes with these kind of pulleys. I don't have any complaints with them. They worked for me. And then normally they have the second pulley up here, and then it goes to your wing, right? The sup air harness, this is magnetic, and it's strong. Let me show you how strong it is. Watch. Dang. Watch how far away. Really, really, really like this magnet feature. First paramotor harness I've seen with a magnet there, and I'm excited to test that out. All right, so then your speed bar line, you can mount it through here if you want to. You don't have to. Then first pulley that the speed bar line goes to is right here. They're small, but they're effective. All right, and then they give you this little sleeve. The purpose of this sleeve is so that your speed bar line doesn't chafe into your leg straps over time, right? Then the speed bar line comes up and into the pulley, which is inside the harness, like this, which is good because in flight, when your arm is up like this, that pulley is behind or equal to your carabiner. So when you push on speed bar, it doesn't make your motor lean backwards. And then you mount the speed bar line kind of under the arm like this, and then that's how it's going to attach to your wing. So that's how you should route your speed bar line. I do have one complaint with this sup air harness. I don't know why the dudek harness isn't like this, but I think there's more room down here in between the seat board and the foam padding. So when you try to get out of the seat folds up really easy on the dudek comfort harness. On the sup air harness, the seat board tends to catch on the foam, and it makes the seat not want to fold down as easily. You can see it just naturally sticks out a little bit more, and that's the harness. It's not this motor, but maybe it'll break in over time. If you pull the seat board up in front of the foam, then it folds up much flatter. Just something to be aware. If you have trouble getting into your seat on this harness, that's probably why. So spin this bad boy around. Like I talked about earlier, it's super easy to lift from here. These handholds can pick the paramotor up. The other way that's really nice is grab it here, and then lift the paramotor like that, set it on a table or a stand or whatever. And then the kind of the con that I talked about earlier, putting this thing on your back, watch. When you tilt it forward like this, it kind of wants to fall to the side. It's manageable though. You just have to be aware that when you lean it forward, it might want to lean to the side. But yeah, it's comfortable. Feels like a paramotor. Nothing unusual, nothing strange about it really, other than freaking looks cool. Good. Sets down normal. So overall, I'm super impressed with the frame. Definitely worth the money in my opinion. This paramotor, the pre-order customers got it for $4,500. It's like $130 for shipping, etc. Some tax in there, but base price of the paramotor was $4,500 for pre-order customers. It's totally worth the money. The engineering that you get with this motor is top notch. I mean, a lot of technology, very good engineering. The parts fit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other paramotor that you get this much quality and engineering for the same price. The price now of this frame, if you go to Gravity's website, is $5,500. Still an amazing deal for the money. Highly recommend. I would buy it again. Look forward to flying it, so stay tuned for some videos. I'll do like an in-flight review. I'm thinking about throwing the chase cam on. I think the chase cam will give a good view of the motor, show you what it looks like in flight, and then I'll do some other shots too. That'll look pretty cool. But stay tuned for that. Look forward to flying it. It's like gusting to 20 miles an hour today, so but tomorrow morning it's looking good. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in the next video.